I'm tangled.
What is happening? Hello and welcome back. Christine E. Schultz here, aka the Elvish author. The Elvish author right here on the shirt. And welcome to another book haul. Where, well, you all know what a book haul is. Isaac has gotten us some more books to read from the library, and we're going to check them out, see what he's got, and see which ones we're really interested in reading, and hopefully that'll help you guys discover some new things to read as well. So, let's just get right to it, shall we?
These book hauls have already helped us.
That's true. We found some really great things to read, so.
Ready?
I am.
Book one.
Book one is called The Killing of Kings by Howard Andrew Jones. Let you guys get a good look at the cover here. Alrighty. The Killing of Kings. I like, that's already a good, strong title.
Very strong.
And yeah, let's take a look. It's got a lot of great reviews for sure. Some very long reviews. And we're going to read the blurb so we can get an idea of what this book is about and if it's something that sounds intriguing to us. And you can tell us if it's intriguing to you as well. The blurb says, their peace was a fragile thing, but it had endured for 7 years, mostly because the people of Darasus and the king of the Naor hordes believed his doom was foretold upon the edge of the great sword hung in the Hall of Champions. Unruly Naor clans might raid across the border, but the king himself would never lead his people to war so long as the blade remained in the hands of his enemies. But when Squire Elenai's aging mentor uncovers evidence that the sword in their hall is a forgery, she's forced to flee Darasus for her life. Her only ally, the reckless, disillusioned archer, Kirkconnell. Framed for murder and treason, pursued by the greatest heroes of the realm, they flee into the dangerous, ever-shifting lands beyond the border. While they face monsters and world-shaping storms as they search for the real sword, the brilliant Varama and the roguish Ryland plunder a hero's tomb and infiltrate the Hall of the Mages, uncovering a conspiracy that leads all the way to Darasan Queen and her secretive advisors. The four must find a way to clear their names and set things right, all while dodging friends determined to kill them, and the Naor hordes invading at last with a new and deadly weapon. Howard Andrew Jones brings his adventure-filled epic fantasy story to life in a blend of Chronicles of Amber, like world-building, and camaraderie Three Musketeers-style action. That is the blurb. Thoughts on the blurb?
I like a good adventure, journey story, especially fantasy. So,
yeah, it definitely has a quest type of feel to it, like Lord of the Rings or Zelda, or apparently this Chronicles of Amber, which I'm unfamiliar with.
Me too. I'm familiar with Musketeers though.
Yes, same. I liked that it talks about the ever-shifting lands and then world-shaping storms. I wonder if like the land is actually physically constantly changing form or whatever. I think that would be a really cool concept. So yeah, it sounds like a classic adventure, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
But with some good, got a band of heroes together. So like a character, kind of like an RPG where, you have like that clan of heroes going on an adventure together. And yeah, it's a real classic adventure fantasy, which is always a good time. So that's a possible contender for something that we might read. Again, that's The Killing of Kings by Howard Andrew Jones. Let's have the next selection, shall we?
Are you ready?
I am always ready. The Conductors by Nicole Glover. Well, this looks different than a lot of the fantasy books that we usually have on here. So,
no, but it is sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, well done. But I like finding things that are different, and again, things that promote diversity. We have a black woman, maybe African American. We'll have to read to find out on the cover. And the blurb to this lovely looking gem says, Hetty Rose and her husband, Benji, were conductors on the Underground Railroad, ferrying dozens of slaves to freedom with daring, cunning, and magic that draws its power from the constellations. Okay, first of all, we got star magic. Second of all, we've got the Underground Railroad. Probably already sold, but let's continue, shall we? With the war over, those skills found a new purpose as Hetty and Benji solved mysteries and murders that white authorities would otherwise ignore. In the heart of Philadelphia's 7th Ward, everyone knows that when there's a strange death or magical curses are causing trouble, Hetty and Benji are the only ones who can solve the case. But when an old friend is murdered, their investigation stirs up a wasp's nest of intrigue, lies, and long-buried secrets, and a mystery unlike anything they've handled before. With a clever, cold-blooded killer on the prowl, Hetty and Benji, testing their magic and placing their lives at risk, will discover how little they really know about their neighbors and themselves. Very good. Very good. What do you think of this book, sir?
I am very interested.
Yeah?
I like mystery.
Yeah?
I like detective mystery stories a lot. And I like when stories put magic into like the world we know, what I mean?
And like history and
history and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, I like it too. Like I said, I've always been interested in Black history, and so like talking about the Underground Railroad, I really like that. Again, having more diverse characters in the book. But yeah, I like that they've added magic to this whole concept and this whole time period of history. And Nicole Glover says that she is in Virginia, and so she is also an African American author. So very good to see that. So this is definitely a yes for me.
No, definitely.
This is definitely a yes for me. So, but we must see what else we have in the bag. What's gonna be? Oh, Pinkster. At first I thought that was the name of the book. We Are Stylized by Sarah Pinkster. Very good. Nice cover.
Yeah, it's the cover that really drew me.
Yeah, it's simple and yet I like it. I like the silhouettes. I like the coloring. We Are Stylized. I wonder if this is going to be more sci-fi.
Probably more sci-fi.
We're going to find out. The blurb to this one says, everybody's getting one. Val and Julie just want what's best for their kids, David and Sophie. So when their teenage son, David, comes home one day asking for a pilot, a new brain implant that will help him with school, they reluctantly agree. This is the future, after all. Soon, Julie feels mounting pressure at work to get a pilot to keep pace with her colleagues, leaving Val and Sophie part of the shrinking minority of people without the device. Before long, the implications for the family and for society are clear. Get a pilot or get left behind. With government subsidies and no downside, why would anyone refuse? And how do you stop a technology once it's everywhere? Those are the questions Sophie and her anti-pilot movement rise up to answer, even if it puts them against the pilot's powerful manufacturer and pits Sophie against the people she loves most.
Definitely sci-fi.
I like it. Not a long blurb, but it's dystopian.
Yes.
And now y'all know I'm all about a good dystopian. I like that alternate future of like, well, what if this happened? What would be the implications? What are like the moral quandaries that we must face? So yeah, I like it. This is one in which brain implants, I don't know if they like make you smarter or what the case may be. But it sounds.
Actually, that's what that is.
Oh yeah, on the cover here, maybe that's to represent that. But yeah, what do you think if everybody in society was getting brain implants? Do you think you would get a brain implant?
No.
No?
That sounds bad.
What do you think could be bad about it?
Government will know where I am at all times, which they probably do already. And I don't know. It's just.
You think they might try to control their thoughts or things
I don't know.
like
There's
that?
like so many implications there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of those things where you shouldn't just get it blindly.
Oh yeah.
This is probably a little bit relatable in this day and age with the whole vaccine issue. I don't know if I should talk about this because this could get heated. But I believe that there are valid reasons to get the vaccine, definitely, and I also think that there are valid reasons for some people for health and other reasons to not get the vaccine. And I don't think that we should ever just blindly do something just because government is telling us to. I think that we should be able to think for ourselves and make those decisions. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want anything up in my brain, so I probably would refuse to. But anywho, that would be our third selection, which I definitely am interested in for sure. We got a couple more to see what they are. What's this? Oh, you finally got the Six of Crows by the Leigh Bardugo. Didn't we read a blurb from a Leigh Bardugo book last week? That was a different book.
We did.
I remember not being super drawn into that particular blurb. Not saying that the book might not be very good, but
Instruments. Was
no,
that her too?
that's Cassandra Clare.
Okay.
Not saying that Leigh Bardugo isn't good. I was just wasn't drawn in particularly by that particular blurb. But let's see if this one snags me a little bit more. Yeah, we definitely read from her because she's got like the cool like colored pages go on. So, all right, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Let's see what this about, shall we? Ketterdam, a bustling hub of international trade where anything can be had for the right price. And no one knows that better than the criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker. Cass is offered a chance at a deadly heist that could make him rich beyond his wildest dreams. But he can't pull it off alone. A convict with a thirst for revenge. A sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager. A runaway with a privileged past. A spy known as the Wraith. A heartrender using her magic to survive the slums. A thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Cass's crew are the only ones who might stand between the world destruction between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. So, Ketterdam was mentioned in the other blurb. Cass Brecker, that character was from the other blurb. So I don't care what that lady told you. I don't think that was the first maybe it was the first in that series, but maybe you're supposed to recognize the characters and the world already. This felt more like an opening blurb and not like, oh, we're supposed to know what the heck's going on.
And I think that one also was dealing with a heist, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think it's kind of, maybe kind of what the series is about in general. So. He likes heists. All right. That one interested me more, but I think it's because the other one, we didn't really understand what was going on. I think that we were supposed to have some understanding already of the characters, so that might not be our fault. Maybe the librarian just wasn't, maybe it was the first in that series, I don't know, but maybe it's not the first with these characters, so, and that's fair. But, yeah, what do you think of this book?
I'm interested again. I like heists.
Yeah? I
like this cast of characters.
Yeah? Kind of got another, quest with a party, although this is really more a band of misfits type of party. Yeah. I'm probably not quite as interested in it as you are, but I still do think it sounds interesting, and like I said, at least this made sense to me because the other one sure didn't. So this is a maybe for me and possibly a yes for you.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So again, I know she's very popular right now, so please feel free to talk about her in the comments as to why you think we should or should not read her. That would be lovely. And last, but maybe not least,
the final book for today
is, there's this chick, Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't know if I even need to say this, but she's another just super, super, super huge popular author right now that I've just never read. And part of that's because I don't have a lot of time to read, and part of that's because sometimes I like to go for a little bit more of the obscure. I'm an indie author myself. Not saying that I don't read like mainstream things for sure, but I read what's interesting to me. I don't ever read something because it's popular.
Well, you should.
You should just read what you enjoy. Who gives a crap if anybody's ever heard of it before? But let me read this, and we can see what we think potentially of Sarah J. Maas. She stole a life. Now she must pay with her heart. When 19-year-old huntress Fair kills a wolf in the woods, and you all probably gonna yell at me. I don't even know if her name is pronounced Fairy, maybe? Fairy? I'm gonna call her Fair, and people can just be mad about it. It's fine. When 19-year-old huntress Fair kills a wolf in the woods, a beast-like creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Fair discovers that her captor is not an animal, but Tamlin, one of the lethal, immortal fairies who once ruled their world. As Fair dwells on his estate, her feelings for Tamlin transform from icy hostility to a fiery passion that burns through every lie and warning she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But an ancient, wicked shadow over the fairy lands is growing, and Fair must find a way to stop it, or doom Tamlin and his world forever. From New York Times and USA Today best-selling author Sarah J. Maas comes a seductive and breathtaking new book that blends romance, adventure, and fairy lore into her most unforgettable story yet. So, thoughts?
Yeah, sounds okay. I don't know.
He says it sounds okay. That's going to make a lot of people unhappy. Why do you think it just sounds okay?
I guess I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I mean, she finds a dude.
Well, she kills a wolf, and that's a bad thing because the Fae come for her, and they're just like, no, we demand retribution. And then she gets dragged off to this land, and her captor is Tamlin, who is one of the Fae. But then it's definitely a enemies to friends romance, which I actually really like that type of thing. I'm not gonna lie. Although I've heard mixed reviews on this. I've heard, some people say that, Tamlin's just really an ass, and, why did she fall in love with him? But then I've heard, opposite things. Or I think maybe there's, additional love interest who's an ass. Maybe they're both an ass. I don't know. There's, some back and forth on whether it's, a healthy relationship or not, as far as I recall from a lot of people talking to me about it. But yeah, so if you're into Fae books, I have a friend who loves things about fairies and the Fae, then it's probably a good book to check out. I'd be interested in reading it just to see what all the fuss is about, Although I've heard that Sarah J. Maas is not so much young adult as she is new adult, and that there are some semblances of ravishings in her books.
Sounds like there's going to be ravishings.
Yeah, so a little bit spicy maybe for some of the young adult crowd, maybe not. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that my favorites are, let's see here, would be the Conductors,
that one's
for
my
sure.
favorite.
We Are Stylized. I think those would be my two favorites.
Yep, these two are my favorites as well.
But yeah, so that is our book haul. We found some that we for sure want to read, some that we're not quite too sure of. But yeah, let us know down in the comments if you've read any of these books, what you think of them, or are there any that you're like, wow, I'd really like to read that too and know more about it. If you're going to talk about books that you have read, again, please give a warning if you're going to include spoilers for those of us who have not read them. And leave some comments if you want to of books that you'd like us to include in a book haul, present, introduce to other people. Maybe eventually I can even do a chapter reading from it to introduce it to other people. But I think that's about it for this one. So yeah, we're good. We're good. Hopefully you guys are good too. On that note, happy reading. May you be inspired. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye.